All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's changed since last time we recorded. Out there, you see a lot more people that are growing microgreens than ever, which is awesome. A lot more people are growing around us. We even have students in our group that is an hour or so away from us, so they're basically competitors. But it's great to have more growers out there and everything else. It feels like every week there's someone new launching a business, more racks, more stuff, everything like that. And they're always asking how to price microgreens. I find that is the number one question I get a lot. What do I price my microgreens at? I always ask them, well, what's your inputs? How much does it cost you to make a tray? How much does it cost you to make a package? How much does that cost? There's some of the questions that we get all the time, we see out there and everything else. Talking about that, we do have a pricing guide that's in our Microgreens for Profit group. It's $10 if you join that group for free. It's $10. You can get that spreadsheet that we made on how to price microgreens. Very, very helpful in that and everything else. So definitely, if you want, check that out. If not, check out our free group anyway. But that's what I've been noticing a lot. Andy, what have you been seeing out there? More noise, more starting? What's going on? What do you see?
Yeah, we've definitely seen some people pop up around us. I mean, and it's no different. I mean, I've coached several people that are very close to me. I mean, I've had when we had the storefront, we had people walk through the front door trying to sell me microgreens, ironically, to sell in our store. And I was like, apparently you didn't do any research before you walked in here.
Yeah.
So, but it wasn't like a thing where, oh, get that crap out of here. I mean, I gave them actual advice because like some of the guys had just obviously clearly not great products, clearly not great packaging, stuff like that. Because I mean, ultimately, the goal would be to try and find people to fill in the stuff you don't want to do anymore. You don't want to, if you don't want to go to farmers markets anymore, then there should be an opportunity for a microgreen grower to start in that area, because in the end, no matter where you are in your competition level, everybody that's involved is helping educate the public on what microgreens are and educate them about the health
Yes.
benefits to them. So it makes Mike's job easier to sell microgreens when somebody that's near him is also talking about microgreens, whether they're buying his or Mike's. Ultimately, if that other person goes out of business or they lose out or whatever, or they find Mike's and they find they like theirs better, then it's an easy sale because they already are familiar with the product. That's the hardest thing we've got to overcome, as an entire community across the globe, literally. I mean, Sprouts ultimately are still fighting that battle, and they've been out long, long, long
Yeah.
before microgreens. At least like as far as a relative understanding of what they are. So, the fact that at this point, I think microgreens have almost, I don't want to say surpassed, but they got to be pretty darn close to surpassing Sprouts in popularity.
Yes.
Mainly because of the risks and things that are involved with Sprouts, like pathogen and disease issues, things like that. So I think overall, it's definitely a booming market. And, the biggest challenge everybody always has is, like you said, pricing, sales, marketing, things like that. Growing them is the easiest part, by far the
By
easiest
far.
part, that's awesome. The production process is simple, but, without customers, it doesn't do you any good, so
Yeah.
that's the biggest piece you got to figure out.
Yeah. And without pricing them correctly is the biggest challenge, because if you price too low,
Yeah.
you're not going to make any money. If you price too high, nobody's going to buy them. Um,
Yep.
so you've got to know your inputs and you got to know all that stuff. Everything else, you're toast. I think that's why most people go out of business, is because they don't know their numbers, or they don't know how to run a business. They
Yeah.
can grow, they can sell, but the whole business aspect is a whole different thing too. The tax man comes around every year. You got to know how to get your taxes done and what you need to write off and all that stuff and everything else. But that's a whole other subject that we could spend days on that part.
Yep.
But customers have even changed a little bit. Grocery stores are being more of a buyer now for local microgreens. Restaurants, chefs, they change constantly of what they want, right? So you got to be on top of what they're wanting and what their needs are if you're going in that realm. If you're going to sell for grocery or restaurants, you got to know what the microgreens are now, what's in popular now, what's going on now. So you got to be tuning into this podcast and other things to know what's going on in the world of microgreens, so that way you can stay on top of stuff and being ahead of the curve other than everybody else. Standards higher now, so the more people are in the business, which is a good thing because it brings all everybody's level up, right? Your level
Yes.
gets higher because competition does that. If there was no competition, no sports teams would ever be any good, because they don't no need to get better because there's no competition. Same thing for us. There's always competition. That's a good thing. People expect clean, constant quality products, no mushy products. Packages has got to be looking halfway decent. You got to look perfect. Some of that local feel is good, but don't look like a hobbyist. Don't look like somebody who's growing in their backyard and they growing different stuff and everything else. Just make sure you look like a true business. There's been people around here that have tried to copy us, and the grocery stores are too far for us to go. And they're like, hey, look at their YouTube channel and copy what they do. Well, they never bought coaching from us or anything else, which we would have helped them out. And they try to copy us, and they're failing because they don't know everything that we know. Because it's not just about packaging. It's not just about what it looks good. It's not just about how to grow it. It's a lot of other aspects. So they keep on constantly asking us to come there, but it's just too far of a reach for us. So I would help them people if they reach out to us, and probably would do it for free to help that grocery store, because that's a whole chain of stuff and everything else. But you got to have good quality products as their demand is going to be there. Grocery stores are looking for that local. Andy, I know you've gone out and pitched and done stuff with everybody. How did you go about doing that?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, when we're dealing with chefs, we're trying to plan an appointment as best we can. Sometimes we'll walk in. It's rare. I mean, we usually try and avoid that unless we know we can find the chef ahead of time, because that does open a door when you're walking through the front door and you say, hey, I'm here to talk to Chef Matt or whatever, and they're like, oh, okay, let me go get him. They assume you know him, even though you don't. You've never met him before. So just knowing the chef's name, we found is a much easier way to walk through the front door and actually get past the gatekeeper, which is basically the server, the attendant that's right there when you walk in. So it kind of helps get past that point. And oftentimes, no chef is going to turn down free stuff. I mean, literally, they will not. So if you can get in front of them, you're in good shape. As for grocery stores, same thing. I mean, we don't always try and schedule an appointment. I'll usually try and find out when the produce manager is working, and then I'll just make sure I go in when it's not crazy busy. Sometime during the week, preferably not on the weekends when they're going to be the most crazy. That seems to work out pretty good. And then, those are kind of our two bigger markets, but we've been leaning a lot more in the restaurant side of things too. And it's funny because your reference for the guys that are growing, and selling down in that grocery store and they tried to copy you. This one time we did a video with a chef, and he's been a chef of ours for 4 years now. And he was making their signature dish, on video for this thing. And I was like, are you really okay with literally having somebody film your signature dish being made? He's like, Andy, I could have another person standing here and telling them what to do, and they're still not going to make it as good as I can.
Yep.
So it's very similar to what you're talking about, when you try and get somebody that's going to attempt to copy you and go from there. So that's why, you have to build confidence in your own products. You have to be able to present. And like Mike said too, I mean, you've got to find that fine balance between looking like a really, really, really crazy strong business and still finding it to be local, finding a way to make it look professional, but also make it look local and not make it look like he said somebody doing it out of their basement or whatever, where they're handwriting all their, names of crops and stuff like that on their stuff. It's got to look good. I mean, we've won over grocery stores that turn down other growers because of that, because of how nice our website looked, because of how nice our packaging and labeling looked, so it's a big plus when you've got that opportunity and that ability to put together something really professional. We recently, probably 3 or 4 months ago, I wish I had one physically to show you, but we redid our chef menu, and it looks incredible. I mean, it's I think a 6x11 postcard now, and it's the soft touch paper, which I love from Vistaprint. I've talked about it in the past, and it looks incredible. I mean, you give that to a chef, and they're like, holy crap. I mean, they're expecting a printed out 8.5x11 sheet of paper. We're giving them a nice actual card.
Yeah.
So they really enjoy that. It's a cheap expense to have those printed. Obviously I did all design work, so I don't have to pay anybody, thankfully, but nothing like Fiverr or something like that. You can probably get somebody to do it for pretty cheap. But yeah, that's been little things like that makes such a huge difference, that it just shows you care, and it shows you want to look professional. And we've been asked, I don't know how many times, are you guys a franchise? Are you guys a franchise? And we're like, no, man, we're just damn good at what we do. So it's a nice
you want
plus,
that impression
sure.
that you're really good and really professional, but you want to make sure they understand that you are the local person too, because a lot of them want to spend money with local, especially when you go to restaurants, eat local kind of thing is all out there. So it is a fine line, like Andy was saying. You want to look professional, you want to look like know what you're doing, but you want to keep that professional, that local kind of feel as well. So, but by Andy going in as the owner, or myself or Jess going in as the owners, that makes it local a lot alone, right? That you're still there, you're still doing stuff and everything else, so they understand that you are local, at least to start the the account, right? At least to get the account
Yeah.
going up and everything else. You want to make sure they understand who the owner is and then they can contact you. And then when they're on the phone with you, if they got something going on, issue, or they need more products or whatever, they know who they're talking to. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah. And when it boils down to it, I mean, local translates to fresh,
Yes.
translates to getting it immediately. I mean, that's really the big thing. It's like, yes, you're supporting your local community, but there's also major benefits to having a local product like freshness, like quick delivery. I mean, they're going to get long shelf life out of everything. It's going to be somebody they can call anytime and they know they can reach out to you. And it's not going to be, some person in another country answering the phone as customer support. It's going to be you picking up the phone or one of your employees picking up the phone, or something like that. And that's nice that they have that access to something like that. So that's a lot. Being local is just a lot more than supporting the local community. It translates to all those things and